I haven't seen you since the plague.
Yahoo! There's something interesting. Once she started getting those big Hollywood checks, the movies she decides to take, outside of the one particular franchise she's most known for, are all movies have something to do with our relationship to the female form. Have something to do with either its separation or weaponization. And I think for someone that is as sexualized as she is, People's Sexiest Woman Alive, obviously, like, Avengers movies are 30% shots of her ass. Like, and the movies she decides to do outside of those are almost all about our relationship to the female form in some capacity or another.
Yeah,
and that's fascinating.
Boring. The female form means something totally differently to me, though, Like,
completely true. I mean, it's her work? Idea.
Yeah, she's a decent actress, but, like, am I going to go out of my way to see her? No, unless it is for the one franchise where I will throw my morals out the window because I'm a stupid fanboy, and that is anything made by Marvel.
Right, I understand. Anyway, I think that's interesting. I like to explore, when the actors get that cachet that is more than just I am a popular movie star to I am now getting projects made that I am at least a partial architect of. And I think it's interesting, like, what they choose to do in that space.
Jon Favreau makes movies about himself. Yeah, exactly.
Right, and Favreau's always been both. But most of what he makes is like everything outside of Disney is autobiographical, right? Like everything outside of Disney is like, this is a movie about me. Even Swingers, which we were talking about the other day, because Jon Favreau showed up as himself on The Sopranos. I haven't seen it either. I won't lie to you. never seen that interesting. But I one day maybe just to like complete the Favreau loop. Though I'll never see all the Favreau movies because he does like live action Disney movies, which I have no interest in. I will never see.
It wasn't great.
I heard Lion King's okay, but I honestly the best thing that came out of that was the Beyonce album.
Donald Glover plays Simba. It's incredible.
Donald Glover's amazing in everything. You know what? Actually, Caleb,
when Donald Glover swings into the scene and goes Hakuna Matata, starts singing Hakuna Matata, I was like, my king.
Okay. Donald Glover singing Hakuna Matata is the only reason now that I've ever wanted to see that movie, and now it's enough.
And then he and Beyonce singing "Can You Feel the Love Tonight" together.
Just go to Spotify. You don't need to watch the whole movie.
Beyonce is Nala. Beyonce is Nala, and fucking Donald Glover is Simba, and so they sing "Can You Feel the Love Tonight" together, and it's incredible.
Guess I'm gonna watch a shitty Disney movie.
Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. That's 2 hours of your life. Don't do this.
I will spend. Hey, look, Donald Glover and Beyonce are people I would spend 2 hours for.
But for like a worse remake of a remake of a 90-minute movie that they add 30 minutes to.
If I spent enough time to watch live action remake of Beauty and the Beast, I can take some time to watch Lion King. I feel like if I prioritize that, I should at least prioritize Donald Glover and Beyonce. You don't need to agree with me, Kevin. That's fine. I'm just saying.
I mean, if you're like, well, I already shot myself in the foot, I might as well, like, shoot myself in the dick while I'm at it. Like, if I have this bullet hole, I might as well shoot another one.
Also, Chiwetel Ejiofor plays Scar, and the Be Prepared version that he sings is also very good.
Okay, Caleb, I don't know how you've managed to change my desire to watch a movie so quickly. I don't want to...
By telling you the cast members?
I wasn't paying attention. I remember being like, wow. It was like... I remember being really stoked about it, specifically because of the cast, and then the reviews came out, and I was like, oh, no, I don't want to watch this. And then forgot who was in it. And now that it's just, like, not in theaters, and it's like... It's on Disney Plus. What am I gonna do? Spend no more money than I'm already spending to waste? I'll watch it while I'm not gonna say.
You can do whatever you want.
Work.
You
like,
don't have to justify yourself to me. I value you and your time, and I want you.
Well, I'm glad someone does, because I don't.
Apparently, I have to look out for you. Apparently, like because Daddy Host has to be so protective of two actual children that when Daddy Host is around us, he's like, activate your worst impulses.
Behave badly. I don't give a shit. Go to war right now. I keep real humans alive every day. Right now.
I have to.
You go for it.
So you two are getting thrown to the fucking wolves.
You have to keep things breathing. What the hell?
Yeah.
Fuck.
And they're not just like cat.
Well, I mean, one of them basically is a cat that pukes on me all the time. And
sure.
The other one is a toddler that doesn't give a fuck about anything I think. So I was like, "Give me a kiss goodnight," and she was like, and leaned away from me, and I was like, I mean, that's rude. I was like, come on, give me a kiss. And she leaned away. And then I was like, all right, cool. And started to walk away, and she went, no. And I was like, oh, wait, you want to give me a kiss? And she was like, no, I don't. And I was like, fuck you, kid. That's rude.
You're like, okay, kiss. And she was like, no. And then you walk away, and then she was like, wait, don't walk away from me.
Yeah, don't walk away from me. I want to say no to your face, you little idiot. I was like, oh, thanks. Yeah.
This is your daughter to you.
Yeah, no, that's my daughter to me. I don't say that to my daughter.
No, I didn't.
No, I fear my own death.
You're like, I might be keeping her alive, but she could kill me.
One day she's gonna have to keep me alive, so I want to make sure that there's goodwill
I think you're raising my children on Sith principles, where they have to defeat me to move on.
They will have to kill you
like
to
Ron
become the
Swanson
master.
From Parks and Rec, like
the ultimate Sith, the true Sith, Ron Swanson. No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna jump into Community.
What?
Wow.
Do it. Let's fucking do it.
What?
For the first time ever, like 13 minutes in, we're like, oh, this thing that we normally do.
A quick button-up show. Let's fucking let's do it. If we could do it. Can we get out under 9:30? Sorry, 10:30.
The full intro thing just yet, but I wanted to pose a question to help us get in the mood.
Okay.
You know, I think. I mean, this episode is. My question is, did this episode come first, or did the episode of Black Mirror that's exactly
this episode
the same
came first?
Episode? Okay,
this episode came
I
first.
thought so. So Black Mirror went, hey, remember that episode where Tim and Eric went on Community? What if we did that, but like, not funny?
What if we did? It's one of those like amazing times where like you've seen something parodied 1,000 times, and then you see something that does it with a completely straight face, exactly like the parody did it, and you're like, I didn't know you could still do this. I thought we had outlawed. Like, it's impossible for me to watch any musical biopic after Walk Hard. Like, now that I've seen Walk Hard, I cannot watch any movie about, like, a historical figure. Because you just...
Or whatever.
Yeah, you're just like, I'm like, there's no way for me to watch Rocket Man. Because, like, every scene in Rocket Man is a scene from Walk Hard with no jokes. And I'm like, I would rather just watch Walk Hard. Thank you very much. But yeah, this episode preceded, and you know, obviously, I don't know if the creators of Black Mirror watched this episode and said, steal it.
I doubt it was actively like.
Yeah, it's one of those like simultaneous think, like, obviously this is a large topic that a lot of people are thinking about. This is not that. I mean, obviously doing it like Logan's Run is a crazy concept, but like the idea of like a social website dictating the hierarchies, like that's a pretty like A to B idea.
There was another episode that was loosely based on some sort of dystopian. There was one that had a lot of 1984 references, right?
I assume that's every episode of Black Mirror. I've
not
not
Black Mirror, Community.
Oh, yeah. The Subway one. But also this one.
Oh, the Subway one.
This one definitely gave 1984 vibes, but that's right. Subway one was pretty explicitly.
They like literally quote Subway.
1984.
They literally quote
1984 to
they
each
quote
other.
Subway. Yeah, they say eat fresh so many times
in
that episode.
They pull a copy of 1984 off of a shelf and read it at one point in that episode. Yeah. Like, they're not trying to hide this illusion.
They're not wasting any time. They're straight to the point. Yeah, I think, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm a huge fan of, like, dystopian, somewhat sci-fi influence, like political sci-fi. Redundancy much, but like
sci-fi, political sci-fi, dystopian sci-fi.
It's all one big casserole. Anyway, we
one big, really bad seasoned casserole.
One like really overdone casserole where you're like, man, I like green bean casserole, but like again, like it
because it's done every year and it's put in your grandma's like passed down casserole dish, and it's like hand-painted, and everyone hates it, but everyone takes some, except that one little cousin that unironically loves it, and everyone's kind of scared of them. You know
I've
heard so many stories recently, specifically of like those casseroles that like that family members make that people hate, that like they have a significant other or another, or no, that like they have a significant other or another family member that's like they really love it. So every time they go to that holiday, they have to eat it because someone has lied that they love it, and that's so sadistic to me that someone be like, "You like grandma's casserole, right?" And they're like, "No." And they're like, "Sweet grandma, they love your casserole. Make it every time." That's so fucking mean.
That's a real fuck up.
Okay, wait, hold on. Okay, I have to tell this story because it's super relevant. So, hi, my name's Jace. I'm white. I like green bean casserole. So
I don't.
Well, I mean,
like
me too.
Green bean casserole all the time.
No, I get made fun of by my roommate because they're like, only white people like green bean casserole, and I'm like, I don't think that's true, but I'll gladly wear that badge.
It's tasty.
It's okay sometimes if it's done right. When it gets a little crispy brown onions on top, fuck
Yeah,
Well, you gotta,
I fucks with it.
it's gotta be like 90% crispy fried onions and like
mean-
canned green beans. I don't want fresh. I don't want like fresh, like full green beans. I want from the can, like French cut green beans that are just.
It is one of those. It is like it's like when you get like a bacon, egg, and cheese bagel or something like that. And if it's not like a slice of American cheese, you're like, this is wrong. Like, I don't even really love American cheese, but like that is what goes on that sandwich construction.
Kevin, I love you. You're so wrong, but that's
That's
totally
the
different.
default. If you don't specify, that's what they put on there.
Oh, well, yeah, actually, that's true. That is, but sometimes
That's
it's
what they
better.
put on.
I don't know. This is also a regional New York kind of fight that we should.
I'll get into it.
Yeah, I don't know if I have a leg in this dog. Is what I was gonna say.
I don't know if I have a dog in this leg, but
I don't know if I have a horse in this dog. No, so the thing I was gonna say is, one time I found out. I'm not a huge fan of a lot of members of my family. I feel so stressed saying this, knowing this is going to be on the internet, and then I realized
But
that
you do
none
a
of the people I'm about to
TV
talk
podcast?
about listen to this. Yes. So,
you do a podcast about TV, but you don't get along with your whole family?
what are you talking
don't-
about?
What?
do you mean? Escapism? I don't think so.
You found solace in pop culture? What?
So I have a bunch of family members, specifically uncles. I won't say which side of my family it's on, but as I'm sure you can guess, it's the patriarchal one. And I don't like them. And I found out one summer while I was in college in a different state that one of my uncles and the one in particular that I really didn't like, I found out that he and his wife were coming over for Thanksgiving. I'm not a huge fan of Thanksgiving. I love the food aspect of it, but it's a very bizarre time. Just as far as like morally speaking, in the way that like we refer to history. We won't get into it. But it's for me. I'm like, look, I like being able to. It's the aspect of being with family and eating food is nice any chance I get to do that. And Thanksgiving is one associated directly with a break where you have enough time to go home and see your family when you're in an out-of-state school, right? So I was like, sick, awesome, going home for Thanksgiving. I'm excited. You know, I love cooking with my mom. I was looking forward to doing that. And then I find out that my uncle and his wife are coming. And my uncle is one of those guys that just kind of like, if he has a fork and you're within reach, he'll just like take shit off your plate. You know what I'm talking about? You know those people?
Ugh, gross.
Yes. It's fucking aggravating. So he would do
real
that kind
fucked
of
up
stuff.
guys, yeah.
And he's also the kind of person that's like, if he likes something, he's like, here, try this, and like doesn't let you say no, and like is just really pushy, just all around. No, I don't like him. And so I'm sitting there, I'm on the phone with my mom, and she goes, oh, by the way, your uncle and your aunt and uncle are coming over for Thanksgiving, and I legitimately start crying. Oh, come on. Can you... Shut up, Siri. Could you still hear me? Siri decided to start listening.
No, we can hear you fine.
Oh, okay. Anyway.
No, the whole time.
So I legitimately start crying when I find this out, and I say, Mom, here's what's going to happen. I said, we're going to make 2 green bean casseroles. One of them is for the table. The other one is exclusively mine. And if my uncle even thinks about touching my green bean casserole, I'm going to cuss him out, and nobody can stop me.
Those are the rules.
And my mom agreed to the terms. I got my own casserole that Thanksgiving. That is my tangent. That is not relevant to this. Jesse's looking at me right
straight
now.
up talking about
playing a video game, but they're looking at me like I'm a monster. How old was I?
Talking
I was
about green bean casserole is
going
gonna make me want some now.
College. So I was like 19 or 20 years old, just crying about my uncle coming to eat my fucking green bean casserole because I'm a greedy little white kid. Anyway, MeowMeowBeenz? MeowMeowBeen casserole is what I'm getting
before we can move on, have y'all seen the picture Elliot Page posted yesterday?
Dude,
Hunk.
Oh my God.
I was like, what's happening
he's
to me?
He's always had that kind of physique, but just like seeing that kind of, like, I mean, just seeing Elliot Page's scars on Instagram is so fucking major. That was emotional. He's just, look how happy. I mean, you see how happy he is. The joy,
elegance, style, love, joy, beauty,
he's just like,
strength,
hey, look,
power.
first time I'm just wearing fucking, board shorts, just wearing, swim trunks. Like, that's the thing that excited me about it, was that post wasn't as much about top surgery or about his abs, even though everybody's talking about his abs. He's always had abs. Even pre-transition, he's always had, that's literally just his physique. But that post was about him being like, for the first time in my life, I get to wear this. That's so cool!
Yeah. It's very cool.
Oh, it's so cool. So now I'm really excited to see what Umbrella Academy Season 3 is going to be. Woo! I'm stoked! Also because I fucking love that show.
I don't think I finished the second season.
Oh, season 2
I didn't even start the second season.
Oh, that's why. Yeah, no. Season 2 is good. Crazy ending, too.
Yeah, I think we finished the first season as the second season came out. And I was like, I just need a break. Not because I don't like it, but just like, we mainlined it a little bit.
Yeah, no, they're long episodes, and they do a lot of stuff in there. I mean, it's good stuff. I really like the tone that they strike with it, and I like the way that they, like, touch on a lot of great themes that I enjoy. It's just, it really plays into tropes that I enjoy and subverts tropes that I don't enjoy.
Also, Klaus is the shit.
Dude, oh my God. Also, the acting is so good. I mean, I like so many of the characters, except for, not that I dislike them, but I look at them and I scream at the TV angrily because they're such perfect representations of macho, like, men. Like, Diego and Ben, is that his name? The big dude, is it Ben?
Sure.
Kevin, have you watched Umbrella Academy?
I watched a couple episodes and I was pretty bored. So I wanted to stay out. I didn't want to I didn't want to shit. I wanted y'all to have your time. I'm trying not to shit on things that don't completely deserve it. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, y'all have your fun. Y'all play with your umbrella under my umbrella, and y'all have fun.
Hey. No, hey. No, I especially during season 2, it's just the two of them with a fucking, especially Diego, with a fucking hero complex. And it was just me and my roommate screaming at the TV, being like, "You fucking idiot!" It's so good. It's so good. Really great stuff. How did we get onto Umbrella Academy? Elliot Page.
Because I brought up Elliot Page. Yeah.
Yes.
Elliot Page. Yeah, absolutely.
Stuff.
Yeah. I love that 10-ish minutes ago, probably more, Jace was like, community. And then Jace immediately took their segue and threw it in the ocean. and got us off.
I told you, I didn't think we were getting into it. I just wanted to prime, I wanted to put a primer to let people know that.
You wanted to put a little grease on the wheels. You didn't want to actually start moving.
Yeah, we don't need to start rolling. We just rock it.
That's okay. Yeah, I understand. It was just funny. Not a criticism of you as a person.
Now that we're here, why don't we start then, huh?
Sure. We'll start what? Advanced Community Studies, a podcast where we watch and talk about the American television comedy show Community 1 or 2 episodes at a time.
Yeah, that's the one.
We are also the premier podcast of the Yahoo Screen Podcasting Network.
Yeah.
I am one of your hosts, TV's Kevin Lanigan, and I sure do love them apples.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Jace. I use they, them pronouns, and... Oh, I have to go number 2 soon.
I'm the third host, the daddy host, the hostess with the mostest kids. And I fought for this country. And I know you don't get to choose what parts you fight for.
No one can get mad at a guy on his birthday.
I love that homie's like, I gotta make number 2, and he just goes, his spirit leaves
He
him.
can't even get his thought out, and then something somehow worse happens, and he just implodes.
Time for me to
Just
make
one of those
number
times.
2.
It's a guttural animal sound when you just like cannot articulate a particular feeling. We've talked about a positive version of that, and that was definitely a negative version of that manifestation.
It's there's it's pre-verbal, right? You know what I mean? I don't want to say post-verbal. That's something totally different, which I won't get
That
into.
would be
I think what you're trying to
beyond.
say is it's proverbial.
Bless you.
Whoa.
Did you say bless you?
Bless you. Gesundheit.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you need a tissue? Yeah, exactly.
I hardly know you.
Hey, what's the matter, you?
Hey, can I tell you? Can I tell you my close second for my quote for the intro? Because
Sure.
okay, I need y'all to remember that Mark Zuckerberg is Fidel Castro on flip flops.
I'm gonna need some explanation there, but we'll run with it.
No, that's a quote from that's a quote from the episode.
Oh,
Yeah.
my bad. I don't remember that at all.
Does Britta say it or does no? Hickey says it.
Hickey says it. Hold on. I want it because the full quote because he elaborates a little bit.
Yeah, he goes into it
Mark
before he hits you with the
Zuckerberg
punchline of Mark Zuckerberg is Fidel Castro on flip flops. At which point I lost it. That was so good.
Yeah, absolutely. Because more like Mark Zuckerberg. Don't care for the guy. No, it's okay.
Also, it makes sense that Hickey's like, fuck Fidel Castro, right? You know, even though...
Wow, I got ad blocked from quotes.net. It was unbelievable. I've never been so disrespected in my life. Mark Zuckerberg is Fidel Castro in flip-flops. MeowMeowBeenz is going to make East Berlin look like Woodstock. And, which is
so good.
a completely fucked up, wild set of comparisons. Everyone's favorite thing. That's actually something that comes up in this episode several times. This, like, the tendency we have to leap to, like, the worst possible scenario because Britta also, like, makes this allusion as she's leading up to comparing something to Hitler, and Annie's like, if you say Hitler one more time, it's absolutely, and obviously, like, you see that online every day. It's like a rule of the internet, is that, yeah, everything's gonna get compared to Hitler. You know, we just got vaccines compared to the Holocaust by a sitting member of Congress. You know, it's a wild time to be alive.
Yes,
That
you know.
happened?
I mean,
That really happened? Wait,
Is that a surprise
I usually am
to
on
you?
top of it.
Okay,
That-
Jason,
I'm not
I will give
surprised.
you.
I'm more so
you will
just, like,
need. You will
it's
need
not-
one guess to guess who it was. You will need a maximum of one guess to guess who it was.
there's too many. It's not Ted Cruz, was it?
No.
no.
It's that other guy,
Okay,
that
so-
fucking troll guy.
Oh, wow. No.
No, not a guy.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, yes?
Oh,
Yeah, Marjorie Taylor
she
Greene.
fucking- okay, no, that checks out. I thought it was that what's his face dude.
I'm talking about Jeff Sessions,
No,
the little
Josh
Keebler
Hawley?
elf.
what?
No.
Josh
Now we're
Hawley?
just naming ghouls.
Now we're just naming fucking demons.
Yeah, I don't.
Beelzebub?
He's that-
Was it him?
Yeah.
He's that greasy looking motherfucker. I don't even know.
I don't...
He's the one that like went up and like testified in like the one with the Trump something with when he was and he just started talking about something unrelated. I can't even, y'all. It is I try really hard to stay on top of this stuff, and I typically am pretty good about it because I've been politically minded for most of my life. I can't, you know,
I understand. You're a little tired out. You can't listen to everything that MTG says. And every time that she gets fucking abbreviated that way, I'm like, wait, what did Magic the Gathering do? What did fucking Magic the Gathering do?
Did y'all hear that people are losing their mind over Pokemon cards so intensely that Target has made like a limit on how many cards things you can get?
Mm-hmm.
That happens all the time. That happens constantly. Like
wheels?
stores. Yeah, welcome to fucking 1998. Once again. But yeah, we had to do it at Forbidden Planet all the time. Is that like there would be something that would pop up online, people were looking for a something, and we had to like put limits on how much people could buy at one time, and then they would be like, oh, we can only buy one at a time. They'd like buy one, walk outside, come back in, and I'm like, no. No, this is not how it works. Come back in with a fake mustache, we'll talk. But
put some effort into it, at least.
Please, a little pageantry for
Come
me.
on, change your
Brighten
outfit,
up my
put
day.
on a wig, a costume. We're in New York. Get creative.
Get creative. There is a Halloween store. There's 2 different Halloween stores within like a stone's throw of this door. Like, come on.
And it's in July, and they're still there. Yeah, no,
So there's no line. Yeah.
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 Halloween City and all that jazz. Yeah, that's a year-round event.
Yeah, all that fucking jazz. Yeah, we're in. We're on Union Square. There's like a magic sex shop, like, you know, just like right over there. You know, you can make
like
it
a
happen.
magic and sex shop, so you can get your strap-on with your new card trick, right? Is that what you're
Yeah,
telling
exactly.
me?
The imagine like the
Fake thumb
great
right next to
disappearing
your fake
strap on or
penis.
something. Yeah, exactly. See, you do one of these, you know, like where you disappear the thumb.
For
but
those
it's
listening,
fucking...
Kevin is doing a magic trick with his hands, where he's pulling, I'm assuming, a long rope of penises tied toe to balls, tip to balls.
Toe to balls. That's
toe to ball, the
I
famous
don't-
toe of the penis.
Guys, I don't know what a penis looks like.
Cole, congratulations on that. There's still time. You're young. Giant
I
thumb
don't
and
know,
a turtleneck.
I didn't know how to
do?
deliver that joke without
What'd he
it
do?
sounding terrible. Because if I leaned into the sarcasm of it, it would have been ridiculous. But then I like defaulted for going too realistic. You know what I mean? I was like, I don't know what a penis looks like. That's just an innately funny thing for me to say. But I think I undersold it. Anyway, MeowMeowBeenz is
MeowMeowBeenz.
actually one of my favorite episodes, not even lying.
It's a fantabulous episode. I did, as I said last week, I was going to do a little homework, and I watched one of the primary visual and auditory references for this episode, Logan's Run, on HBO Max. It was my first time watching Logan's Run, which is a sci-fi film, came out in 1976, one of the last sci-fi movies that came out pre-Star Wars. So instead of like, and like, I don't say that as a mark against Star Wars, just that like when Star Wars came out, space movies stopped being one thing and they became a completely
different. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
there's a line that you can draw between the like Logan's Run is the last sci-fi movie to be made uninfluenced by Star Wars
in any capacity, right? And so
it's the post-Shrek cultural landscape thing. It's like once Shrek came out, we can't look at anything without understanding that it came out after Shrek came out.
Sure, and to an even, like, if we're talking just about animated movies, Aladdin was a similar sea change, where it's like suddenly is like, oh, if we get a big star, and they just do comedy shtick,
exactly,
we can make an entire movie out of that. And
like,
Aladdin
every
is
animated
a
movie
good
has to have some comedian in one role and a bunch of other.
Right, Donkey
big
in
name
Shrek
casting.
is a direct family tree, like, descendant of the genie from Aladdin. Danny DeVito in Hercules.
The whole cast. Hercules
sure.
is true.
Anyway, but before Star Wars came out and sci-fi movies are about shooting, they used to be about... I mean, I'm sorry, that's what they became.
No,
and that's
you're
not
right.
that's what Star Wars is about. Like, it's
When
about
did
shooting
2001:
guys.
A Space Odyssey come out?
Oh, like the late 60s, early 70s?
pre-Star Wars.
Hold on. 2001, A Space...
2001: Space Odyssey came out in 2001.
No. 1968. I even like oversold it.
1968 is what the
1968.
Jesse just stared me dead in the face and said so confidently,
2001.
It came out in the title, and I bought it.
2001.
When did that movie come out? 2001. Oh, okay.
2001.
That checks
sounds
out.
right.
Easy mental
when was
math says that checks out.
When was 1984 written? 1984? Okay, good.
Good.
When did that movie, 1917, come out? Oh, 1917? Cool. Yeah,
Run
absolutely.
is just about a guy doing a marathon. Like, come on.
Come on. It's about a guy running.
Yeah, it was directed by Angelina Jolie, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, God, what was that movie called?
Unbreakable?
No.
Undirty. I have no idea. But you know what I'm coming from.
Angelina Jolie. I don't think I'm gonna get the responses that I want. Unbroken. You were very close because Unbreakable is the fucking Bruce Willis movie.
Right. No, it's the Tina Fey TV series.
That title has more words than you knew that. You knew that when you said that.
You little shit.
You little stinker. Fucking, podcast is canceled. But anyway, just a brief Logan's Run. I am a big fan of those pre-Star Wars sci-fi movies just because they're all so fucking weird. They're all so fucking bizarre because they were all about like, hey, here's a weird outsized concept and we're just gonna like do a whole movie about like what if this concept were real. And also these movies are about fucking. Before Star Wars, sci-fi movies were about fucking. Now people wanted to fuck so bad.
That's why I love Mass Effect, because Mass Effect is sci-fi that's just about fucking, but also
was Star Trek pre-Star Wars?
Yes. By like 20.
That's why it's about fucking and science.
Yeah, exactly. Some of it was, and then some of it. It's
sci-fi about science.
Exact. Wild concept. Absolutely fucked up.
Star Wars isn't even sci-fi, technically.
Okay. Sci-fantasy.
No, it's fantasy.
Sci-fantasy.
Because sci-fi is based in like being able to explain how your world works with science, and the Force is magic.
Well, hard sci-fi is.
No, but like broadly speaking, sci-fi is about provable science in a world.
Even if the science doesn't make sense. But what do you have to say about
broadly,
midichlorians?
Star Wars is the Force is magic. So
it's midichlorians. We know this.
It's Lord of the Rings in space.
Siri, I did not say your name. I said midichlorians.
That's also Siri's name.
Yeah, Siri is a midichlorian tester. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's on the fucking Jedi Council. That fuck.
Siri?
Siri's on the fucking Jedi Council.
That's what the Jawa was yelling in the A New Hope. They went, "Oh Siri!
Oh Siri!" Yeah, it's absolutely. But anyway, Logan's Run, a movie about what if you lived in a society where everyone got to live until 30 years old, and then they were sacrificed in a big thing they called the carousel to allegedly be reincarnated. And once you watch Logan's Run, you're like, wow, they are wearing exactly the costumes from this episode of Community. It's like unbelievable that it's exact. What?
So Logan's Run is just cats.
But Logan's Run has a hard cutoff, and it is not about the various members of that dome society competing to get reincarnated. Well, though it is, much like Cats, about fucking.
I'll give some snaps to that. I'll give that 5.
Thank you.
Snaps?
I'll get, yeah.
Meow, 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 meow. Yeah, it's absolutely cool and fucked up. Anyway, Logan's Run's on HBO Max. Check it out. Worth a watch. Weird fucking movie. Can
we talk about one of my favorite moments of this episode? I'm just skipping ahead.
This episode being Season 5, Episode 8. App Development and Condiments, directed by Rob Schraub, written by Jordan Blum and Parker Day. Jordan Blum, people might know from the new MODOK TV show, as the co-creator of that show.
Oh, I have. Sorry, excited.
I've watched the first 3 episodes. It's the best Marvel TV show. Big BoJack, Rick and Morty vibes.
Just like Mousewald is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, he's great, and the show is, like, very as funny as those shows, and also, like, as fucked up and depressing as those shows. Exciting. If you like those, wade in. If you don't like those shows, you will not like. If you're like, I would like some more MCU content, no, you will not find it here. Your seed will find no purchase.
So anyway, what I was saying. Thank you for that. So what I was saying.
Now we're done.
You're good. That was a necessary part of the introduction that we did not get to. Anyway, so there's the moment where so Jeff is already. Jeff and Britta have sort of this at this point have like an unspoken pact of like trying to cause a revolution from the inside out, right? And Jeff has recently been promoted to a 4, and he's walking around, and Britta is there, and they narrowly escape them freaking out and doing who knows what they would have done to Britta, but being like, "You're a 2, you're not supposed to be here." And Jeff's like, "I got this, I'll take it," that blah blah blah. And then they go into this room, and there's like they close all the blinds, and there's like a very film noir shadow effect on their faces, and it feels very 1984 in that moment. And then, is it Tim or is it Eric that walks in? It's one of those two.
Tim. It's Tim Heidecker.
Tim walks in and has this tiny little moment.
I was in love with the 2 once.
Yeah, I was in love with the 2 once. That's the joke, and then he talks about it, and he says that his name was Matthew, but
Matthew.
People
your
change
secret's safe with me, MeowBeenzz.
Yeah, and there's something so fun about having a really goofy, fun moment with that right there, where the punchline isn't that he is gay.
Yes, right. Like
and there's something about that also like when for me, whenever I am watching sci-fi or anything like that is implying or playing off of, even if it's just in a pastiche, the idea that like society has progressed to a certain point, right? And, things may have developed poorly in one direction, but things are also the future in a lot of other ways, right? Mm-hmm. Whenever there isn't some element of, like, queerness present in those societies, it takes me out. Because genuinely, it doesn't make sense. Like, in the future,
don't play
Why?
Cyberpunk.
'Cause it's all straight people?
It's a remarkably gender heteronormative society.
Yeah, right, exactly, right.
To the point where, like, when you watch things like that, they're set in the future, they have no queer element whatsoever.
It's like,
you can
where did you get this prediction from?
Only reason it makes sense, quote unquote makes sense, I'm sorry, but like the only way you can justify it in your head is like, well, that element was specifically like quelched out as a part of this society.
Literally, and we have seen that throughout history, like during World War II, literally an entire library worth of books that studied trans identity and like trans people burned, so like
absolutely.
queerness was specifically targeted as well, but like the idea of for me, when sci-fi is playing with these ideas, right? When it's not, especially when it's not like a dystopian sci-fi or like a politically dystopian sci-fi, right? That's focused on like fascism.
You're making sci-fi and it's not politically dystopian. What are you even fucking doing?
Well, I mean, that's true. But like with the specific lens of like fascistic or authoritarian versus some other this one, I don't know, this episode is kind of in a weird line with what I'm saying, but for a lot of times when I watch sci-fi or stuff that plays with the aesthetics of the future and all these things, it's upsetting when they don't go there. And so to see that taken in an unironic, like really nice moment right there, I was just very pleased with that, especially because like this show has a very complicated relationship with the way that it talks about queer people, and the way that it represents queerness, and sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not so good, but that was one of those moments where I was like, yeah. Do I think that when they did that, somebody was like, this will be funny, he should say the name Matthew because nobody will think he'll say a guy's name? Yeah, it's very possible that that's what it was, but it doesn't come across that when you watch it now. It comes across very genuine. It's the least funny part of that moment.
Sure, and I think a lot of that might be, I have, as you said, like 2 minds about the way that like Dan Harmon will handle these types of topics in his writing, but like I feel pretty confident. I'm not like a huge fan of the guy, but I feel like Tim Heidecker is not someone that would swing at that target. Like Tim Heidecker seems to have the correct opinions, even if I don't like usually find like his stuff particularly palatable. He's like a producer on a lot of things I like, but like the things he's a direct creative force on, I'm usually like pretty off-put by. I feel like in his comedy, he has the right targets of his comedy, even if I don't ultimately love the result.
I am not a fan of Tim and Eric's show.
I don't get it.
I don't get it. It doesn't do it for me. I know some people that love it. I say good for you, good for them.
Yeah, Tim and Eric, you've got to be in a mood. You've got to be in a mood.
In a very specific mood. There's one sketch that I actually do like, and I really, really like it from them, and it's when the two of them are explaining space, and it's super iconic, and it's, in my opinion, their best piece. It's fucking hilarious. It's so good. Just hearing these two, like, explain space and acting like they know what they're saying, but saying utter nonsense. It's the best thing ever. But like their style of comedy is very frequently like the only time that I go, this feels like you're punching down, is when they do the stuff where it's like they get normal people and you're just kind of laughing at how awkward normal people are, but they don't tend to pick targets. Most of their jokes are just squelch noises and fart jokes. Like that's their whole
which we can all agree on. Farts are funny.
Farts are funny. Oh my god, yeah. But like, see, and then of course, Tim and and then Eric Andre's show comes out, and it just gets me. I love it, and it's interesting because they're both similarly absurd, but there's a different lens that Eric has that is far more like politically absurd versus like aesthetically absurd, and it is.
I completely get that.
It gets me. I love.
There's a grounded, weird to say this, but there's like a grounded nature to the Eric Andre show where like,
absolutely,
because it's using the in-studio talk show sort of format, my brain can more easily latch on to the more absurdist elements because I have that solid base to come back to. Whereas something like Tim and Eric, which is just a complete fucking free-for-all, I feel like I'm in the wind. I don't know what to latch on to, and that's me. Yeah. And obviously, comedy is super fucking subjective. I think you're touching on
something very true with that, and I think that's, I don't know.
It's why I really like something like Community, right? Like it always has this base of characters, the fucking study room table to come back to as a sense of like equilibrium.
Right, and I think that's then when you get into the realm of absurdism, right? It depends, how are you talking about the aesthetics of absurdism, or are you talking about like literally like the theatrical tradition of absurdism and absurdity, and how that's a political commentary in itself? And how that's, if not feeling grounded is a perfectly valid way of expressing that lens. It doesn't land with me because there's something else that's not there. I don't know. Regardless of that, I mean, they are literally comedy legends. Like these people are some of the most famous names in comedy. And it's so funny because every time they walk in during this episode, which I, of course, always remember, this is an incredibly iconic episode that I always remember and I always think about, is the idea that, like, whenever they walk in, I'm like, oh, it's these two. Who are these two? Why do I not? And then when they show up in their costumes later on with, like, the face paint, that, for some reason, is when I go, oh, it's Tim and Eric.
Oh, it's Tim and Eric. They look like normal guys before, and I didn't get it.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't recognize them when they looked like humans.
No, I
just
understand
walk in
that.
wearing cash clothes, and you're like, the fuck are you?
I was like, where are these fucking Honda SUV driving like startup wannabes? Like what? I didn't.
It's like when you see someone who is known for being particularly like glamorous or theatrical, and then you see them like completely dressed down out of that persona, and you're like, wait, that's what Lady Gaga looks like?
Yeah,
right.
I wouldn't have been able to tell you that. I would not have looked at the character in A Star Is Born and known it was Lady Gaga if they didn't say Lady Gaga. If she had gone by Stephanie Germanata, I would not have known. that was who that was.
Kevin, you just gained so much respect in my book for knowing Stephanie's full name.
Thank you. I respect. You must pay due diligence.
To our Lord and Savior, Lady Gaga. Absolutely.
One of the world's greatest weirdos. Like, correct. One of the, like, what, just like, and like, not even just like, oh, she puts on crazy clothes. Nope. The way she interacts with people is fucking weird. And I love that she's just this fucking
I would
weirdo.
love to see Lady Gaga and David Albarn. David Albarn? Damon Albarn.
I have
no
idea who you're talking about.
The guy from Talking Heads.
David Byrne?
David Byrne. Who's David Albarn?
No idea. David Byrne is the guy from Talking Heads.
What just happened? I
don't think about
it. Don't keep going. You're fine. Spoken like a
smile and wave.
But David Byrne and Lady Gaga, I would kill to see what they would do together. Oh my god, that'd be so cool.
That would be tremendous. You know, my birthday last year was supposed to be going to see David Byrne's American Utopia on Broadway, and then that obviously
I heard it was fucking phenomenal.
I did not have it. I, in theory, will be able to see it for the next birthday because they're allegedly bringing it back in late 2021. But I saw the version that Spike Lee filmed and put up on HBO Max, and it was like tremendous.
Oh, that's right. I didn't.
It was absolutely tremendous. But you're right that those two should do a collabo. They should do because her previous collabos are with like fucking Tony Bennett, and I'm like, okay, yeah, thanks. Bennett. And I'm like, that's great, but like, could we get you on a Talking Heads album? I know the Talking Heads don't really exist anymore, but could we make that happen? David Byrne still exists. Absolutely. MeowMeowBeenz.
I keep thinking back to the moment where we get Jeff doing the stand-up bit, which is
one of
perfect.
The greatest.
It's
it's one of my favorite things to make fun of, which is bad 90s stand-up comedy, which is just like, this type of person walks like this. And this
you know what I mean? And they cut to Annie's face, and just the moment of like, oh my god, that's so true. The other thing that gets me is when they cut to him and everyone's laughing, and he just goes, oh shit.
I laughed so hard this last time.
That immediately takes me back to being younger and listening to, like, I hate to say it, but fucking Dane Cook comedy albums on iTunes. You know what I mean?
We were all there. We've all been. We were all. It was
like you didn't listen. We all knew.
It was the early 2000s. Like I don't pretend you didn't listen to Dane Cook. Don't pretend.
His stand-ups are on HBO Max.
Homies,
and I tried watching them recently, and let me tell you. Garbage.
Can I tell you a memory that I have that I'm not ashamed of in any way? And is one of my favorite memories in my life. We had a baseball tournament in Carbondale, and we played one day. We played the morning game when we got there, and then the night game, and then it rained all fucking weekend. But our team was in Carbondale, and rather than leaving, we all decided we would just fucking stay and hang out. And the Sunday of our like 3-day fucking vacation with a bunch of fucking high school dudes, we watched fucking Vicious Circle in my hotel room, eating breakfast, and it was fucking magical.
It's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what that was.
It's one of my favorite fucking memories.
It was fucking. I mean, it's just like we were all there. You know, like I remember. Like, one of the first SNLs I ever watched live was, like, hosted by Dane Cook. And I was, like, in stitches when he was just doing stand-up. And then, like, a year later, he hosted again, and I didn't laugh at all. It was, it was just this...
Yeah, he just...
It was this solar flare that just, like,
it was a solar flare of aesthetic. Like, he just kind of nailed this tonal thing. Like, it wasn't... He barely told jokes. He did a goofy voice... and told stories of him being an asshole, and he just said the word fucking over and over and over again, and all of us were like, this is comedy. This is hysterical. And
this is the height of what comedy is capable of.
This is the height of comedy. As no one before has ever been this funny, and no one in the future will ever be funnier. And somehow, we were dead wrong. It was just a moment in time, and I'm so grateful that this episode fucking nails it. Because objectively, nothing Jeff says is funny. But it is so funny to watch.
It's so funny as this recognizable, like, we know this type of stand-up. We know this type of pattern. We know, like, he's doing a pitch-perfect representation. Right? And, I think, I mean, I don't know this off the top of my head. I imagine that Joel McHale was maybe doing stand-up during that time. You know what I mean? And it was like a whole... it was a whole thing. And then it's like, it's coming from inside this universe that they've created, right? Yeah, the call-out is coming from inside the house. I love these. They're doing something we do in contemporary culture, but in a completely foreign culture. But somehow they have the same bad kind of stand-up. Rick and Morty does this all the fucking time. Like, snake jazz, like, leaps immediately to mind. Is that they have our style of jazz, but it's snakes going like, it's absurd. And I just love it. It fucking kills me every single time.
How did you get into snake jazz?
What'd you say?
I my brain turned off for a hot second, and then it turned back on, and we were talking about snake jazz.
Snake jazz. Yeah.
How did we get from Dane Cook?
Because it's a Rick and Morty thing. I went back to the stand-up comedy thing, and like I compared this to a style of comedy they do on for listeners. This is a recap of what I said 30 seconds ago. That they do this type of comedy on Rick and Morty all the time. Obviously, another Dan Harmon program. This type of humor. Here is a recognizable Earth culture thing, but what if it existed on a completely foreign planet or in a completely alternate dimension, exactly as it exists here, but with a different set of cultural references.
Right? Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Anyway, and I compared that unto snake jazz.
Snake jazz.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, glad we're all caught up on snake jazz.
Yeah, thank you for recapping what you literally just said.
Last time on Kevin Exposits.
Previously on 30 seconds ago. Previously on this same episode of Advanced Community Studies.
Previously on something you could hit the 30-second skip button on your podcast player and hear again verbatim.
Hey, for those of you listening right now, if you don't want to hear me say this again, just click the skip forward. Hold. Hey, for those of you who are listening to the podcast, if you don't want to hear me just say the same thing twice, go ahead and just push the skip forward part right now.
That's absolutely fucked up what you just did.
All I'm saying is use your medium to your advantage.
Absolutely. Use the medium to tell the story. And I mean, this episode is just like, it accomplishes so much in such a completely limited amount of time. Like, it completely invents a new MeowMeowBeenz based society, and with all these cultural references to movies like Zardoz and 1984 and all these different like cultural cachets. I can't say anything specifically from Barbarella, but I get Barbarella vibes from this as well. And it's
also,
just like
shout out to the set dressers who
unbelievable.
We constantly acknowledge how good they are, but this episode really does it for me. Like, you go outside when they go outside to like the abandoned zones where all the ones are,
and there's just like barbed wire and burning trash cans.
Yeah, spotlights panning around, and the chicken wire. Yeah, oh my god, it's
all the like the MeowMeowBeenz signs that they put up, and then after that, all the Brita Che Guevara mustard stain signs that they put up.
No, the profile silhouette of Brita with just the little yellow smear. It's inspired. I mean, it's truly like, it's amazing. It's so good.
It's so good that it's just like they created this entire like new universe of design. The like white fancy future dance room and all the fucking
hey, and he goes, That comes down?
What is that? Comes down? Coogler! Coogler is a character that I fucking adore. Played by...
in like one episode a while back.
No, this is his first. This is it.
No way.
This is like, he's in this, and then he's in one episode of season 6. He's in 2 episodes total.
Wait, this is his first episode?
Yeah, and he just comes in and he's like, hey, I'm Coogler. It's a guy we all know. And Coogler, I can't explain why it's funny to me, but having this, like, send-up of terrible 80s college comedies in the middle of this is also fucking hysterical to me.
It's
played by Mitchell D. Hurwitz, creator of Arrested Development. You know, just like, why is this happening? But I am
that's who that is. When they say Mitchell D. Hurwitz is
Coogler.
That's Mitchell. That's his real name.
It's Mitchell Hurwitz, creator of Arrested Development.
Another fucking phenomenal show. The thing,
right?
When I was,
because Dan Harmon was on Arrested Development, it was like kind of like a tag back, you know, it was repaying the favor.
Oh, that's fun. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
He's on the worst episode of season 4. The like second episode of Arrested Development season 4. He's like he's at like a table and he's just like handing things out and he does a little bit. And I had a watch party for Arrested Development season 4 when it dropped because it was like the hype train was rolling, you know. It was like 8 years since season 3. I made like frozen bananas with chocolate, like it was a whole thing. And like it was weird being in that room and just like watching the air leave the space as that season went on. But like I popped so hard for Dan Harmon. I was like, it's Dan Harmon, and everyone was like, who is that? What are you talking about?
Who's this fucking loser?
Who's this guy?
I remember watching this episode. I don't know why I just said I remember. I watched it today. I was watching the episode earlier, and I'm having a hard time. I'm struggling right now. I don't know if y'all have caught on, but I'm...
Oh, we noticed.
Today's a hard day for me. I'm trying.
No, I understand. It's okay.
But like Jeff, breathe. When Jeff comes in and he's with all the frat boys, I was like, what a stupid bit that they just did for no reason. And then there's the post-credit bumper, and then all of a sudden,
all back.
They're all back, and it was just like, it was brilliant because I immediately then thought back, okay, what was that day on set? They had all those guys come in, and they did the shot with Jeff, and they were like, okay, awesome. And they're like, okay, great, and before you all go, just really quick, we just need you all to stand in front of the camera right here and just scream Kugler. And just go, Kugler, Kugler. And they did that, and they're like, great, thank you so much, that's a wrap. And it brilliant, so good.
It just adds this extra fucking element to the fake Kugler trailer. It's fucking good. Giving Joel McHale a list of funny names to say, always gold, and just him rattling off the frat boys is incredible. It's really good. This episode is a great character piece for all these different characters. Shirley, great Shirley episode. Great Jeff.
One of the best Shirley episodes, I'd say, because we actually talk about Shirley for once.
Right, and her like making. I think this season has a real missed opportunity to, at near the end of it, pay off this weird sub Shirley storyline where suddenly she's like very invested in on-campus activities in a way that she hasn't been previously. And like I think Andre left her between seasons, so like there's something that could have been wrung out of that, but they left that water in the rag. They just did not twist that out. And it hit me in this watch of this episode. I was like, there's something that we really could have done there.
Is it weird
following this one?
It's coming a few episodes late now, I guess. Is it weird to anybody else that Andre and Shirley are apart again? And that it's because Shirley got too into her sandwich business? I
didn't realize that was a thing. I must have missed that or forgot about that. But I could understand externally, like non-canonically, that they were like, we're not going to have that actor come back, and we want to have Shirley have an independent. Oh my God, the cat just figured out how to open the door.
I mean, Andre's participation in the show is so limited. He doesn't need to come back for them to stay in a relationship. But it still feels like this. They built a character who was all about her family, and then suddenly made her care about business more than family, which is really weird to me.
I have always cited it more as an Andre flaw than a Shirley flaw that he leaves her.
It's definitely an Andre flaw. I mean, that was the reason why it got tumultuous at the end when they were first talking about it, is he was like, but I have to go back and do my business. And she was like, I have a business. I can do this. And then it felt like it was a quick, like, fine, like, I'm good from Andre. But absolutely, in actuality, he never got over that. Which, I mean, does track, but it's still like...
And it needs to... they needed Shirley to come into this season as downtrodden and unhappy as the rest of the cast. Like, she needed to have her own thing that she's running away from.
I also
that would drive her back to Greendale.
That probably had something to do with the fact that she was like, okay, I'm a little... I want to give her a bit more of, like, this independent... I'm my own person kind of vibe. That was the path she was going on for a while, and it just seemed like the next logical step was to be like, hey, growth, so much that she was by herself and didn't want to be by herself to now being, I am by myself and I want to be by myself. You know, like that's kind of a cool thing that I wouldn't be surprised if Yvette Nicole Brown had some sort of influence on.
Sure.
But yeah, that's definitely a big shift, Caleb, that like happens pretty quickly, kind of out of nowhere, almost.
Yeah. I meant to bring that up when it happened, and I forgot. So, you know, my brain's basically like just a bowl of really old soup every day.
Caleb, you've got 2 kids. I mean, I don't know what my excuse is, but like,
I get it. The worst part about that is that for the last 2 weeks, my in-laws have been moving. So I don't have daycare service anymore. And while I'm not complaining about hanging out with my kids, like all day, every day, 5 days a week, hoofda, I get fucking drained. Today, Amanda was like, I was gonna take the kids to the zoo, or sorry, not the zoo, the science center, because like we've never taken Charlie to the science center when she was old enough to fucking play with shit.
Sick.
So I was like, let's do it. And then fucking the zoo's closed on Tuesdays. Sorry, this is all information nobody needs to know. Anyway, we ended up staying home today because the science center was closed for no fucking reason.
And does the zoo come in?
Because we've been to
They're
the zoo.
in the same park. They're in the same location.
Oh, okay. There's a common. This is a St. Louis thing, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha. I was like,
so can't go to the science center.
It's your turn to be alienated, Jace. It's your turn.
So much. I really appreciate it. You know, it's not like I experienced it most days of my life, but it's fine. I'll take it from you too.
Get the
Also.
fuck out!
Oh, cool. Makes me feel really bad about a joke. Fuck.
I'm totally kidding.
I know. Anyway, I'll finish my story real quick. I promise. No, I know nobody cares.
Take your time, please.
I
meant that not ironically. I meant that.
We had plans to go to the science center and we couldn't. My grandma then, instead of just like coming over and figuring something out, fucking pulled the ejection cord and just, I'm gonna do other shit. And I was like, cool. So I have both kids all day by myself. And then my little angel of a daughter, Charlie, walks up to me and goes, I just kind of want to relax today. And I was like, yes, but what does that mean? And then she was like,
how old is
Let's
she?
smoke, Daddy. Let's
dangerous as fuck. What do you mean? And then she's like, I just want to take my iPad into my room. And like, it's Tuesday, but I was like, go for it. And so like, I hung out with Eli and brought her snacks every 45 minutes. And I let her just veg on her iPad for like 5 hours. And there was a moment where I was like, should I like get her out here and do some coloring or something constructive? And I would like get up and then like, nah, and sit back down.
Nah, you gotta, as long as it's not like every day. Like, yeah, let him play on the iPad. It's fine. It's
a day to
fine.
relax. You gave her a day to relax. That is a lesson in autonomy. You are a good father.
Dude, she was getting up and going to the bathroom on her own. And like, as somebody who like, she's gotten pretty good about that, but as somebody who like really worked with her to like not pee her underwear all the time, her like not saying anything and me being in the living room and hearing the toilet flush and then her just like walk back to her room was like, oh, I did it.
Just like almost start crying. You didn't know that a flushing toilet could be an emotional experience.
Yeah, I was like, when did flushing piss become emotional for me? But it works.
It's because you're not picking it up with your hands anymore.
Picking up piss with your hands.
I don't know. You put it in a paper towel or something. It's in.
Oh, okay. I got you.
You can't pick up a liquid without some sort of solid.
Wow. You know, that's a thought for the day.
Yeah.
And with that,
everyone just do it. In order to pick up a liquid, you need some sort of solid.
Wow.
That's your physics lesson for the day. Physics? Yo, I don't even have my mouth
That's
guarded.
That's your physics clusket. What'd you say? Your brain went, but what if not?
I recently got a mouth guard for when I sleep because apparently I grind my teeth so much that my cheeks have trauma. Anyway,
it's not funny. I'm sorry. It's just the way you described it was very, very good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I meant it to be funny. And
I give this episode no MeowMeowBeenz. Zero
this podcast episode or this episode? Wait, okay, this end tag though, we're ranking. I see the ranking things open. This end tag.
I just have it up, you know, if y'all want to keep chatting about piss or whatever. Like, that's fine. I have the end tag ranking. I would like to start with a declaration. So we're ranking episodes and end tags. This end tag, of course, the trailer for the fake Coogler movie. This is my number one.
Whoa.
Fiddler Please has been number one for 3 seasons now. And I think there's a new king in town, and his name is Coogler, and he has an aversion to education. Is getting laid a class? No! It's exactly something that I find funny. Love the character of Coogler, and this is a perfect pastiche of bad VHS college comedy trailers that I've seen 20,000 of. It is one of the greatest recreations of visual style that the show has ever done. It's unbelievable.
Caleb, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are number 2, but
you love Fiddler Please. That's
go from piss to poo.
Fiddle the Please fucks me up.
Oh my god,
so much
1 to 2. I get it now. I get it. Very good, Kevin.
I mean, Fiddler Please has been number 1 for 3 seasons for a reason. You know, it's held that spot for a long time.
I don't think I can, in good faith, bump Fiddler. I don't think I can do it. I almost want to put it below Darkest. No, it's number 2.
I mean, you can be honest. If you think it's below something, you know.
I was like, it's below Darkest Timeline, and then I went, no, it's not.
Nah, I didn't.
It's a great episode. I mean, it's interesting, the end tags, we've talked a lot about the top 10 for the episodes, because we haven't touched the top 10 in for a minute. Well, it seems like y'all did recently with Hickey Hiding, which I'm assuming is
that is the one time we've touched it in a long time.
Yeah.
Since the beginning of season 3, this is the first time we've touched it, except for Hickey Hiding.
Right. So it's interesting because it holds a slightly different position. You know what I mean? I look at these and I'm like, those top ones are the most iconic, but not necessarily the ones that make me laugh the most. And I forget that this is an end tag. Although I have a hard time believing I will forget it now, and I don't know why. After having
now that you've talked about it, now that you've locked it in.
Now that I've talked about it, I'm like, this is actually a fucking exceptional end tag. I just never think about it. But that's also probably because my fondest associations with end tags are Troy and Abed, and we're in a post-Troy and Abed world right now. Yeah, let's do this too.
All right, I can live with number 2 being Coogler.
He likes shit.
Nice. Yeah, I do. I can't lie to you. I like shit.
I like shit. What are you gonna do?
I like shit. Now, this episode. Okay, how about this? Let's start with the current number 12, Basic Lupine Urology, the previous Rob Schraub directed Law and Order episode. So the
I think
battle
this one's better.
of the. I agree. So that was.
Are we going right back toward the top 10? This is a banging This is one of my favorites.
This is a big one. Okay, next one above this, because I think this might just be a 1 slot elimination at a time. Next is the Ass Crack Bandit, Basic Intergluteal Numismatics.
Better. I think this one's better.
I agree, which is...
No, I agree
Daddy
too.
Host.
My initial thought was and then I realized that right above that is fucking Floor's Lava, and I was like, well, maybe. Sometimes things work.
Yeah. Number 10, Geothermal Escapism.
This might be better than that one.
Is this episode better than that one? No. I'm saying it makes sense for it to be above Basic Intergluteal Numismatics because the one immediately above it is one I think can't move. Well, not can't move, but this doesn't move it.
I would be inclined to agree. I think this is just outside of the top 10. And I'm perfectly happy with a new number 11, S5E8, app development.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And development.
Repent.
Condiments. Booyah.
Booyah.
Booyah, booyah.
Booyah, booyah.
Yeah. We all just did that. Amazing.
I
With
got
built-in bowl warmers. Yeah, absolutely fucking.
Wait, that's totally it though. Now every time you sign off and you say pop pop, the response should be booyah booyah.
Booyah, booyah. Yeah, it's a call and response, and then you sing.
Yeah, it's like
the theme
and
song.
so and with you, whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. I'm Jewish. I don't know why I'm making these jokes.
I'll allow it. Let's see. Okay. Anybody got those pluggables? I'll say I was on one of the most recent episodes of the Community Rewatch podcast. I was talking about the season 3 finale, Introduction to Finality. I think it was a good discussion. I had a good time, and if you like this pod, you should go listen to that one. Go have a good time. Go enjoy yourself. And I have another exciting pod appearance that I did immediately preceding this one, but I don't want to plug it until it's like actually out.
Fun.
But it was enlightening and it was wonderful and I had a great time. But that will be my plug of the week. I'll say give our show 5 MeowMeowBeenz on Apple Podcasts. Give it those 5 MeowMeowBeenz. And
do you make more money that way? What does that do?
What? Nothing. I mean, it boosts the show. It's like, the more reviews we get and the more positive reviews we get, the more likely it is that we'll show up if someone types in community podcast on Apple Podcasts, or like that will pop up. I mean, at this point,
SEO,
we're not going to
like engine optimization.
Yeah, this show is never going to like surge up the charts, but every little bit helps. So I will say thanks for that. And anybody else?
I'd like to bring in a special guest for a plug, because there is a video game that Jesse has been playing, and I don't know what it's called, but it's amazing. What is it?
Do you like MeowMeowBeenz? Well,
I do.
This is the game for you. It has a lot of meow meows and a few toe beans. It's called Calico, and it's sort of like Pokemon meets Nintendogs, but cats. And the color palette is impeccable. It has pastels in the turquoise pink region. There's lesbians in it. If you like the lesbians of Stardew Valley,
I do.
You're gonna love the 3-dimensional lesbians in this little town. And
3-dimensional characteristically or like aesthetically?
Like polygons.
So,
wow.
Yeah, but you do have to do a lot of emotional labor for all of the people in the town. I'm cute. I'm blue, and I have a 5 o'clock shadow, and I wear overalls, and I have
cowboy hat,
pink hair. You can also you can make galaxy hair. You can ride any wilderness creature that you find. So now,
any of them?
Right now, I'm riding a red panda to and
You're
from.
riding the red panda?
Yeah, I was riding an Arctic fox, and the tasks are really manageable. You never feel like you're disappointing anyone, which is really important for the sustainability of me playing.
Take that, parents.
Yeah, there's no parents to disappoint in this game. And
Hell
then there's also an art decor element, so you can design your cafe that you run. You're running a cat cafe that welcomes any creature.
Wow.
And
then it's just an animal cafe at that point.
Yeah, I guess so, but that's not what the game is, I guess. Is it? Would you?
Oh, and you can make food. So you have to be really small, and then throw ingredients into a bowl. And honestly, it's way better than regular cooking.
Like in the real world, you mean?
Yeah. But it is a little frustrating because everyone in the village has differing, like, artistic palettes, and they all want you to craft your cafe to their likeness. And so I have like one spooky corner that I like hide from the rest of like the colorful, cloudy vaporwave cafe, because my one like queer friend Ash in the game like really wants a spooky cafe and won't come unless it's spooky.
So would you describe this as like a chaotic, cozy game?
It's not very chaotic. It's cozy, and deeply curious.
Oh, love that. That's the plug.
What was the name of that game again?
Called Calico. Are you looking it up?
Calico. I was just curious.
Like the kind of cat. And it's on Switch, and I don't know if it's anywhere else, but that's it.
Yeah, that's my plug. I I saw them playing it earlier, and I was like, I need this to be more well known because this is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
It is also an indie game designer.
Oh, love that.
Yeah.
I do love an indie game. Cool. Yeah. What about you, Caleb? What are your plugs for the week?
Don't really have any plugs. As I mentioned before, I haven't really been getting in. Oh, you know what? Just kidding. I haven't been doing anything, so I have nothing to plug in terms of what I'm doing. I've been watching kids. But I have been watching Mythic Quest, which I mentioned last week. That show fucking slaps. I'm all caught up. Also, I was in a really depressed funk starting this morning, for a couple days, and I watched Ted Lasso, in its entirety. I watched the whole first season today. Like I said, I haven't been doing anything. That show literally broke my mood. Not many shows can do that, but that show broke my mood. It made me happy and changed my entire day. Ted Lasso is also on Apple TV. Jason Sudeikis is a football coach from Wichita who gets hired as a manager of a soccer team in the UK, and it's incredibly good. Apple TV's got the market cornered right now for workplace comedies. They work.
From creator of Scrubs, if anybody needs another.
Oh, yeah.
From Bill Lawrence,
wow.
the creator of Scrubs.
Oh, there you go. Mm-hmm. That's why it's... Oh, shit. These have got some great ratings. Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's the most acclaimed show right now. I just don't have Apple Plus. I need a new iPhone soon, and I think they just give you Apple TV Plus if you buy a new iPhone.
Wait, for real?
So I'm excited. Yeah, I think if you buy, any significant Apple product, they're like, could you please take a free month of our streaming service? I'm like, don't mind if I do.
It's like buying an Xbox or a PlayStation and getting a month of PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live. What if we get this sucker to play this for a little bit, and then they'll be like, but I can't not have it.
So I gots to have it. That's how they get you.
I need it.
I need it. I will not be playing any more video games for a while because I just got the Mass Effect Legendary Collection, and that is my foreseeable future.
So good.
Good games that I like to play. They are nostalgic for me, but they are also good, which is a great combination. If something nostalgic is actually good. Let's see. Brief programming note. We will still record next week, but there won't be an upload next week because I have to start going back into the office on Wednesdays, and Wednesdays during work was when I was editing these episodes. So we're gonna go back to kind of recording with a week buffer, which will be nice for me because then I'm not gotta get it out, gotta finish it on Wednesday. So that'll be fun for me. So no episode, but in 2 weeks we'll be back with VCR maintenance and educational publishing, which you might remember as the episode that has the fucking creator of Breaking Bad and the guy that wrote Rainbow Connection in the same episode. So that'll be fun for us.
Wait, Jim Henson?
No, he did not write Rainbow Connection. Jim Henson did not write any of the songs. Paul Williams, baby. Paul Williams. If y'all need an episode of The Muppet Show to watch, go watch the Paul Williams Season 1 episode. It's fucking delectable.
Yeah, well, I'm sold. Damn. All right.
Yeah.
Nope.
He writes a lot of Muppet songs, but I think most notably of them is Rainbow Connection.
Well, that is their most famous song, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll be back in 2 weeks with that, but until then, pop, pop.
Booyah, booyah. Dee-boo-doo-dee. 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 Boo-doo-ba-da-doo. Dee-ba-da-doo. Boo-doo.
Wow.
I just watched a robot shut down in real time.
It said 4:45, but it was 4:45. You thought your plumbing was safe, but your jeans were half-mast. Another coin down the drain. Now that's some change that won't last. 25 cents at a time. He's taking our souls. Government man can't help. We're all alone. Are you feeling the breeze? Did you pull your belt
did just watch The Mitchells versus the Machines.
I did as well. I about a week ago. Yeah. What did you think?
It's got some definite things that I wasn't so much a fan of, but I really like it because going alongside Into the Spider-Verse, it's showing that Sony have got a really good handle on how to compete with Disney for animation, because nobody can match Disney's raw workhorse output or the fact that they've got, the budget to hire the best of the best and everything, and the aesthetic choices to very carefully polish everything. Because I don't know if you saw the latest one, Raya and the Last Dragon.
Not yet. No.
I mean, technologically, utterly exquisite. Yeah, it really is. But it's that level of finish and polish that a Disney movie has, and Sony have decided somewhere along the line that they can't compete with that, so they just won't, which I find fascinating and wonderful.
I think that's the best way to go when you're looking at competition, is that like you'll never beat Disney at Disney's own game. You can't. It's too rooted in our culture and their corporate culture, and like everyone has like an idea when they hear something is a Disney thing. So Sony seems to be moving. They're just like, we're going to be tonally completely different. We're going to be stylistically completely different, because Disney is generally very, traditional. And they won't have like the herky-jerky animation of Spider-Verse, or like the integration of like the 2D overlays in Mitchell's versus the Machines, which I found very charming,
Yeah, they're really doing a good job over the last couple of years of carving out a very unique visual identity for themselves, which is, I mean, it's great because it's a relatively unknown studio, like not like underfunded or indie by any means, but like it's still it's no Disney or DreamWorks.
Right, exactly. And DreamWorks, I feel like it's sort of petered out a little bit, but for a while they were building their brand on like, well, we're wilder and we're more edgy and we're more pop culture, minded, and that was how they built out their niche. And Sony, I can't list every recent Sony animation thing off the top of my head. I know the Emoji Movie is in there somewhere, but like they're moving.
I think we all pretend that isn't.
No, that's the outlier. But they're moving in a much more like, well, we're going to give you something a little more non-traditional, and we're going to give you something that you really haven't seen before, at least in like a mainstream 3D animated studio family comedy film. And that just allows it just opens up all these great avenues for their movies, is that like, well, now you have a full new language for both storytelling and jokes. Once you add like this new veneer, it can only pay off for your movie.
Absolutely. And the other thing they've got going is that like all Disney films look identical to each other. Yes. Pretty much.
Yeah.
And to a slightly lesser extent, so did all the DreamWorks animation. Like you look at Rise of the Guardians and Shrek, they're very clearly produced by the same company, even though they're trying to be visually very different. Whereas there's enough difference between Into the Spider-Verse and Mitchell's versus the Machines that, like, it's not that it feels like it's a separate studio, but there's just that bit of difference, which means they're going to be able to capture different market segments with each movie, which it gives them more flexibility, which is no bad thing.
Absolutely not. I am all for people, slipping into the corporate culture and like forcing these big studios to like expand what they think is possible and like play something a little more dangerously. It was a Warner Brothers animation, but the Lego Movie, which uses a lot of the same people that the Spider-Verse and Mitchell's versus the Machines use, that's what that movie's like about. It's like, what if we slip some actual artistry into an animated movie about the Lego brand? and it worked. It paid out dividends.
I mean, it does also help that Lego is just the best thing ever.
It's really good. It's so, I mean, you know, obviously it's very malleable. It's also very like immediately identifiable. They again use like what is at the core of this idea, like the Lego idea, and like let's build our movie. Forgive the use of the word build there, but like let's build our movie around the principles at the core of why we all like Lego.
Yeah, and God, it really worked for them. It did.
So this is, of course, the interview portion of Advanced Community Studies, and I am thrilled to be joined by the inker of many fine comics, including Crowded, which is one of my personal favorite books right now, Ted Brandt. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's a delight to be here.
I'm very happy to have you. I remember, if I remember correctly, we first kind of connected when I did that Community Characters as X-Men thread,
Yes.
which brought a lot of interesting people into my sphere, which I'm very happy about. If I can use my two great obsessions for any good at all, I'm glad that something came through it, you know.
Yeah, and I although I haven't listened to all of the back episodes, I did note that you had Jay Editing in there, so another perfect person for the intersection of interests.
Exactly. Yeah, and the, you know, I feel very privileged that like me doing this dorky thing on the internet, you know, not only having a podcast about community, but then doing that dumb thread has like brought people I admire into my sphere, whose like work I really enjoy. It's a great feeling, and I'm very privileged to have you here today.
Well, I'm very happy to hear that.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about your community journey. How did you come to the show, and what is your story with the show?
Ooh, right. Hang on. I'm just going to do some quick maths, because if there's one thing I'm terrible at, it's remembering my own age and when things in my life happened.
I understand that very clearly, actually. I get
so. The second time I went to university was 2009 to 2012. So it would have been the second year of that. So 2010. Yeah, that's when I first saw Community.
Wow.
Because so it was fairly fresh at the time. Because a housemate of mine illegally downloaded it. You know, being not only students, but students in England with no conceivable way of legally watching it, then
I do what you gotta do.
Yeah. He was into Community because he was a very big fan of Joel McHale's The Soup, which, I mean, he described to me as the closest thing Americans will ever get to a British take on media, which I can sort of see.
Interesting. That's how he described The Soup, or Community. Okay.
The Soup. Although I certainly would argue that Community has more in common with a lot of British humor than it does a lot of American.
I would absolutely agree. And you know, Dan Harmon will be the first person to tell you that, like, how much he loved Spaced, which, you know, like, one of my favorite shows. Obviously, like, you start seeing guest stars from British television show up. So like once Matt Berry's in there, you're like, oh, okay, like I know what shows he's been watching. Richard Ayoade directed a few episodes, you know. So obviously he's a big fan of British TV.
Yeah, but so then said housemate downloaded the first couple of episodes of Community and was like, and as soon as he watched it, was like, you really need to watch this. And I did, and then it was like, wow, that's incredible. And then of course, once he wasn't living there, I wasn't illegally downloading Community, and so it kind of dropped off for a while until I don't remember, it was a couple of years later that it was like it started showing up on Netflix over here. I was like, oh, okay. And yeah, since then I've watched all of it multiple times, apart from the gas leak year, which I've watched once out of politeness.
I did the same until obviously very recently we covered it on the show. So most of that I was like, oh, I haven't seen this in 8 years. I wonder how this will play versus when I was in college when I was watching it for the first time, you know?
Yeah, gas leak year was fascinating because it's like a really almost clever Community fanfic.
Right. It has that fanfic tendency where I feel like the characters are always coming in and like reintroducing themselves and introducing like, here's my trait that so much like fan fiction has.
Yeah, it also had this I mean, one of the things that was really jarring was because Chevy Chase had successfully forced Dan Harmon out by making the network choose between the two of them. Suddenly, Pierce was still written exactly the same as he had been, but suddenly everyone was accusing him of being wise and virtuous, which was...
Yeah, there's like a whole episode in the Gas Leak year where it's like, well, we can actually learn a lot from this racist man. He has much to teach us.
Yeah, and he's not being the thing that really killed me with that was that Pierce wasn't written any different. No. And yet but everyone else was just suddenly going, oh, this font of wisdom among us. We've never appreciated him.
Everyone's perspective just like radically changed except for his. He needed change nothing, and everyone else is like, I see your value now. Yes, I understand. We were overlooking you this whole time.
Yes, truly, it was boomers who were the real underappreciated heroes.
That's right. And they skewer the oh god, what is Annie say in reference to like the boomers is like they're catering to your generation's historical vanity or something like that. Your generation invented music. I don't know about invented, perfected maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah, phenomenal. So what are the characters or episodes that you gravitate to most?
Ooh, well, I mean, being autistic, I do have a very big soft spot for Abed.
Sure.
Though a part of me has never forgiven Dan Harmon for breaking his own promise to the audience. Because very, very early on, we had Abed say, don't do a special episode about me. And then they damn well did.
They did. They've done at least one about like, let's get to like the heart of Abed, and it doesn't always work because Abed, they make the very clear choice of we are not going to attach a specific label to Abed, which you know, on one level I respect, because like once there's a label, like you are suddenly representing an entire underrepresented group of people, and on the other level I'm like, it is also a little cowardly for not wanting to like address it more head on. I'm of two minds.
Yeah, I'm very much the same. Like, I see why they took the route they did, and I think by and large they still really handle Abed in a very good way. But that episode was a mistake, because if you're going to be too cowardly to name which disorder Abed is living with, giving a whole episode explaining him and still not naming it is just a way of calling out your own cowardice while not addressing it.
No, I definitely understand that. Right. When we covered that episode, I hadn't even remembered that moment where he's like, don't do a special episode about me. And then lo and behold, 2 seasons later, here's a special episode about you. Right. And it just be, you know, like a lot of characters on this show that could fall into specific zones, Abed can really only be defined as Abed. Like he is his own unique being by virtue. The same thing happens with the Dean, who I also love, but like they again very specifically do not throw a label on him, and they have a whole episode about how like no label is going to stick to this guy.
I know. I love all of the small throwaway lines about that, like when Leonard calls him a fruit and he just goes, inappropriate, hurtful, and barely the whole truth.
Barely the entire truth.
This is great.
It's great. Or like, if sexuality is a magic show and being gay is pulling a rabbit out of a hat, then I am one of those never-ending handkerchiefs. It's just those great, those excellent moments. Yeah, Community's relationship with labels is interesting to say the least, I think.
Yeah, and as you point out, there are good and bad points with that, because it does mean that they don't force any character to become the one representation, which can lead to a lot of pigeonholing. And also, let's face it, no matter if you're the only character representing any given gender, sexuality, or non-dominant ethnic group, inevitably you're going to upset people. If you start, the more you define it, the more you're going to cause upset.
Right, absolutely. And Community is a show that definitely like trades in the archetypes, like in the first episode they're like, here's everyone, we're using these archetypes and then we're going to deepen them from there. But somehow Troy does not become a representative for all jocks in the same way that, like, if you put a label on Abed suddenly, and part of this is because we don't get a lot of characters on television that have Abed's predispositions, and obviously at this time Big Bang Theory, which that's usually the reaction from a Community fan talking about Big Bang Theory, but they are also debuting at least one character around this time who would grapple with similar issues. And I didn't watch enough of that show to know if they ever put a label on Sheldon either.
No, they skirted around it, though. He was much cleaner as a representation of Asperger's than Abed.
Mm-hmm.
But then that's, or at least a stereotypical presentation, because of course, like I've got quite a few different like Asperger's friends, and all of us are, the way Asperger's happens, like with most neurodivergences, it's person first, then disorder. So the manifestations of symptoms are so very different, because like for me, I have empathy issues, should we say. I'm biologically not incapable, but very limited in my empathy. But I know Asperger's people who are hyper empathic.
Mm-hmm.
And so so Sheldon was what you'd call a safe TV Asperger's guy, definitely. Though I don't believe they named it explicitly, but but also a safe typical Asperger's guy is also kind of shitty, because the joke is always just he doesn't get people, whereas at least Abed, especially with the not naming what it is, like, or a combination of things he has going for him, was always much more of a human being than Sheldon ever managed.
Yeah, I agree with that. We get so much of Abed's like worldview and perspective beyond, whether or not he has Asperger's or autism or anything. Like we get, he is so his own character outside of whatever he might have. So I appreciate you talking about this and you sharing this with us.
I mean, like, one thing's, because I understand both arguments. There is a point for me where not naming it actually helps, I think, in the sense that it stops people focusing on what he's got, because actually, like I said, among neurodivergent people, there's an infinite world of differences in terms of the way their symptoms manifest, like, and which symptoms of their particular differences they have, much less like, especially with like then when you factor in the personality stuff, which is independent of all of that. So by not labeling it, it meant that people wouldn't end up with expectations and would just take Abed as he came, which is a very useful thing, because actually it's a really good model of how to deal with people who aren't neurotypical.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's sort of this unfortunate byproduct of, well, we don't get a lot of characters that are not neurotypical on shows, or at least ones that like would be portrayed in like a kind and empathetic way of being the character first, and suddenly, you have these, Abed has to represent an entire group, and you're always going to run into problems when you only have like one character representing an entire group, because suddenly when they do something shitty, it reflects back on your entire group, and anyone who is not a straight white male that has existed in any space basically will tell you that that happens to real people as well. Like, oh, so you are the representative of your entire group, and you know, it's weird. There's a lot of variance within those types of groups, but we don't get that a lot of times.
No, you need to, in order to avoid being a monolith, you either need to go very vague on the details or have a lot of them.
Yeah, right.
Not really any alternatives.
Right. And the true solution to this conundrum is more representation of these types of characters, but that's always remarkably slow going. And, you know, I mean, they kind of feel, maybe I'm talking out of my ass here, but both of these characters that we've been talking about, Abed and Sheldon, definitely have like a direct line descendants from like Moss on the IT Crowd or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, it definitely feels like there is this, they are responses to this previous character.
Community, definitely.
At 100%. Yeah.
I'd be very surprised if the Big Bang Theory creators had watched any British TV, because based on the rest of that show, it might have gone over their head.
The jokes sometimes in British TV, you know, they're not the most obvious thing in the entire world, so they might have missed it. They might have missed the subtleties of what was going on here.
Without wanting to be too mean, that show feels like it's written by mediocre people who think they're smart.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we've all seen the, like, I mean, it's just my least favorite kind of joke of like, here is a reference, and that's it. You know, and Community is obviously a show that tracks in references. The episode we're nominally here to discuss is no stranger from its own references, but like, they've taken the references and they've transformed them, and they've used them to like increase the language of what is happening. You know, even like Starburns running around in a Zardoz costume is
that's exactly what I thought of.
One, it's a good joke. Like, it's a good, I'm glad we reminded everyone that costume exists, but also it, like, that reference helps you, if you're familiar with Zardoz, like, it gives you a key to help unlock the rest of the episode of like what we're doing, the language that we are speaking cinematically. That helps a lot.
I mean, the difference between the way the two shows handle reference is that Community uses it as additive, and Big Bang Theory is subtractive, because Big Bang Theory, the reference is the sum total of the thing. So if you don't get the reference, it takes away. Whereas Community, you can miss the reference and it'll be fine, because it's still Starburns wearing a silly suit that everyone's laughing at.
And that's funny.
Yeah. But then if you know Zardoz, then it becomes additive.
Exactly. If you are familiar with like 60s and 70s sci-fi movies, like this episode unlocks in a whole new way, but it's still interesting to people that I'm sure have not watched Logan's Run or any number of things that this is referencing. You know, the Western paintball episode is good, whether or not you specifically get that like Troy is dressed as Cleavon Little from Blazing Saddles and Abed is dressed as Clint Eastwood. Like, you don't need to understand that, but it is nice when you get it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's one of the reasons why Community is such a great show, because it's incredibly reference dense by most standards, but it never makes them necessary to understand what's going on.
Absolutely. So when I came to you about guesting, you had kind of the last season and a half to choose from, and you zeroed in on this episode. So I'm wondering, what about this episode leaps out to you specifically?
It's one of my all-time favorites. It really is. At the heart of it, I think one of the reasons I really like it is because it's one of the best Jeff Shirley episodes that exist. I would argue the best, and it's fantastic because it's got that classic Winger thing of fighting the good fight for entirely the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
It's got Shirley, you know, doing what she does best as a character, which is trying desperately to be remembered and getting that wrong. it's both of them living down to their worst while aiming for their best.
Right. Yeah.
Which is always a joy. And I mean, Britta's whole thing in it is just absolute magic.
Yeah, it's completely phenomenal. The mustard smear, the Che Guevara, beret. It's incredible stuff. But yeah, Jeff and Shirley is one of the show's like most potent dynamics, but one that the show sadly does not go to all that often. Like once a season, they're like, here's a Jeff and Shirley episode, and that always pays out dividends. But I probably chalk it up to how much like Shirley is underwritten and underutilized on this show. We don't get it that often.
There's also a point that I can't remember. I'm so sorry. Which of the three of you made this in one of your earliest episodes about the fact that it was about Shirley being a gossip. And they're saying that, although that really makes her interesting and rounds out, you can't go to it too much because otherwise it ends up defining the character and it will lead to her being a source of problems. And I think it's a similar thing with Jeff and Shirley, because they are very, very similar people, albeit with different expression of those similarities. But if you go to that well too often, it will inevitably either be too close or too clashing.
Yeah, no, that's true. It keeps the well fresh if you only go to it so often, because otherwise you run the risk of like scraping it dry. And part of it's just that like, well, I wish Shirley had more to do on the television show Community.
Oh yeah, and I would strongly agree with you there, but I'm not sure that necessarily giving her more with Jeff than she got would have been the answer.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I understand.
But yeah, this episode, just absolute wonderful clash of these two very, very similar people. But it shows that, like, again, because they both want the same thing, which is control, because they both want it for the same reason, because they're afraid of who they are without it and whether they'll be left behind. That's why both of them seek control. And so seeing them clash over that, but in very different ways, it's wonderful character dynamics.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great every time they use it. And then obviously you have, like, beyond these two, a series of great, basically running jokes like throughout the rest of the episode.
Like Annie, early adopter Edison, first to jump on any bandwagon.
That's right. And Hickey's like birthday runner. And the introduction of Kugler, who is one of my favorite characters. It's all good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Annie's bit in this was fantastic because it just really makes me think a lot of the episode shooting the school's commercial.
Yeah,
but it's exactly the same thing of Annie can be very quickly bribed with a shiny thing and then just falls down the rabbit hole to the point where she's unrecognizable.
She can be bribed with responsibility. She can be bribed if, like, you are putting her managerial and organizational skills at the forefront. She is, if there is a tyrant, she is the one next to him holding a clipboard every single time. Absolutely. And it's just great because she falls into that role and that hole so quickly every time. And it's a really interesting thing because she's a former addict, and so having this thing of her very quickly falling into stuff is it's a really interesting thing because it wouldn't necessarily work for someone else. Yeah,
potentially, but it does. It plays to who she is, that she is strong and she's determined, but like a locomotive, being strong and determined, all you need is someone to pull one little lever and it goes onto the wrong track.
Right. Yeah. She is a creature of hyperfixation, right? And once that manifested as like a pill addiction, but in other ways it's manifested as like the honor roll student, the captain of the debate team. There's any number of instances where that same like drive has led to any number of different conclusions and outcomes.
I think my favorite line that has directly resulted from this exact thing was, "Are you familiar with Stockholm syndrome? Did the dean invent it? Because if not, I don't care."
So good. That's a fucking great episode. The commercial shooting episode. God bless it.
Amazing. But yeah, so Annie's one of the small but really, really well done parts in this. It gives you just enough of her to you. I mean, this episode excels at what Community does best, which is it gives you just enough to absolutely see a full arc of something where they have no intention of providing the intermediary jumps. Like where we go from day 1 of MeowMeowBeenz to day 8, and you can see the whole arc of how they got from just Garrett bossing Starburns around to, you know, this whole Logan's Run inspired nightmare. But they don't need to show it. And the single best expression of that, in fact, the best expression of it the show has ever managed, is Jeff Winger's stand-up routine.
Oh my God. That like he's doing like bad 90s stand-up comedy, but like this world they've created, this MeowMeowBeenz world is has its own like depth and inside jokes and stereotypes.
Exactly. And so not only does this one little comedy set like round out everything because it fills in a lot of the missing 7 days, but also you've got this incredible thing going on where it's a genuinely funny routine because it gives you just enough of the world, and you've been given just enough of the world that it all makes sense to you and you laugh. But also it's clearly a half-hour set, and you get what, a minute and a half of it, 2 minutes maybe, and yet you know everything that's gone in those intermediary bits, which is clever.
It's a great writing tactic of like you're hinting at something larger, but like you are doing all the clever moves to avoid having to like show it and create it.
Yeah, I mean it's what a lot of smart media does. Like it's that broad brush calligraphy. Because I saw someone describe it was the characterization in Pacific Rim as broad brush calligraphy rather than detailed notes. And details, like the idea that like most movies would give you a detailed typewritten dossier on the characters, and this gives you just this beautiful calligraphy that hints at everything, and and that's the sort of vibe Community goes for, and it's a much better show for having done it. Because if you only go for that broad brush stuff as well, it means you can get a lot more in because you can not devote anywhere near as much time to just explaining the nonsense.
Absolutely. Yeah, because that just kills your momentum if you have to stop and you have to re-explain everything. And you have to find ways around that like using Pacific Rim, like there's a moment where we go to like a market that's inside a dead kaiju or something, and you're like, this is so evocative and interesting, but to stop and explain this to me would like kill the magic of watching it happen.
Yeah, it's the best writing never gives you enough time to sit there and go, hang on, this is dumb.
Wait a minute.
And Greendale has to operate on that principle. It has to keep giving you stuff, because the second you break that flow, unless you're already completely invested, you're just going to sit there and go, that's ridiculous.
That's what are you talking about? And this is happening at a college?
Exactly. Yeah. People don't do this. Like, but Community gives you just enough that you can see how they could.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, it's fantastic. It's just it's great evocative like sci-fi storytelling, but they're doing it in a 21.5-minute TV episode about a mobile phone app. It's impressive what they can get done and the track that they can lay in such a short span of time.
Yeah, I mean, or take David and Bixel. They're great examples of not only just throwaway characters, but also of this broad brush calligraphy thing, because just Bixel having that ding and saying, I have to go number 2 soon, like that tells you so much about him. And like some of that is in the acting and some of it is in the writing, but between the two of them, you can tell a hell of a lot about Bixel just from that.
Absolutely. It's yeah, just great characterful stuff. I love it, truly. So we are coming to the end of our session here. Why don't you tell the good people out there where they can find your work and where they can follow you on their internet?
Well, I mean, I'm on lots of different social media things, but the only one I'm ever any good at checking is Twitter. So at 10, as in it's the number, but in letter for I'm explaining this badly. 10_bandits. All words, no numbers. Yeah, that is that cogent? I'm very bad at explaining my Twitter thing for some reason.
No, I think it checks out. 10_bandits. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's the word 10 and not the numeral.
Yeah,
no, it checks out.
Cool. I always get really paranoid about that because it itself is based on a complete misunderstanding of my name, and that misunderstanding has followed through into every time I try and explain it to people. So
the misunderstanding has never been understood. It keeps being re-misunderstood.
Yeah, it seems to be just this general curse at the moment. Because someone once misread my name, Ted Brandt, as 10 Bandits, and
that's phenomenal.
It's incredible.
Wish my name was Ted Bandits.
Yeah, so that's me there. And as far as my work, you can find volumes 1 and 2 of Crowded in all good comic shops and all bad Amazon sites currently. But volume 3 is very close to being done. We will have a release date some point soon.
Oh my goodness. So excited. Yeah.
We'll be teasing the final trade cover a little bit this week. Ooh. It's not finished either, but we're going to have the finished line art at least, so that'll be done. The only other thing I've got that's particularly current is the DC Pride anthology that's coming out in Pride Month in June, where Ro and I have a short story with the very wonderful Pied Piper.
Oh, written
by the excellent Sina Grace.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And lettered by Aditya Bidikar, which was very nice. So yeah, I highly recommend everybody check that out because the Pride anthology is wonderful. It's full of it's a celebration of all of DC's queer characters, and it's exclusively staffed by queer editors and creatives.
That's
so
fantastic.
If you buy this, not only is it a lot of very good stories and fantastic work, but it also, it goes a long way to showing DC that actually these things are valued.
People do care about this.
Exactly. So please go and buy many copies. I don't care what you do with them afterwards, but just buy them.
Just buy them. That's all we need is the numbers, and then
exactly.
Read them if you like. But...
Yeah, buy enough, build a house out of them. Build a tiny house.
I say go for it. Thank you for joining me.
This has been a Talkback Podcast.
That was quite a show. Very entertaining.
Please tell your friends about this show.
Boopy doopy doop boop sex.
Larry, I'm on DuckTales.